Hi guys, welcome on into today's video. Today we're breaking the mold. Instead of doing like a coaster talk, today I'm talking about predictions. I have 5 different ones coming up, and at number 1, Kings Island's next removal. There are 4 contenders that I think could be removed, going from least likely to most likely. Number 4, I mean, Woodstock's Air Rail. This is a Vekoma hang and bang or family suspended coaster. These are not the greatest, especially with the trains, and even though they went in and repainted and rethemed it over this previous off-season, it's probably not going to go anywhere. At number 3, I'm putting Flight of Fear. I get its historical significance, but it is rough. It's been shaky for as long as I've been riding it, and this is probably not gonna go, but it also could, because these rides are getting outdated. It could use a retrack. At number 2, I am putting the Bat. The Bat is an aerodynamics suspended coaster. If you've seen them, they have the train hanging under the track, but instead of a ride like Banshee in the same park where it's just fixed, Bat has free swinging cars. So every time you hit a banked turn, you go flying. Not literally. And at number 1, this is probably the most likely ride to be removed next at Kings Island, Invertigo. These Vekoma boomerangs are rough, and I believe Six Flags Great Adventure is putting one in next year, but this is their new super boomerang model. And I'm not talking about that being removed. I'm talking about the old 1990s Vekoma. Into my next prediction, which is Carowinds' next removal. I also have 4 contenders for this spot. At number 4, Hurler. This is their only wooden coaster now since Thunder Road was removed, and Hurler actually is quite smooth. I heard that they tore down the last turn and retracted it, so I don't think it's going anytime soon, but it would be a great RMC candidate. At number 3, Kitty Hawk, which is their Vekoma hang and bang. Take everything I said about Air Rail, just forget the retheme and repaint. These are not very good rides. At number 2, Vortex. This is one of the original B&M coasters. It is a stand-up, and it's not that comfortable because you're standing all day and then you have to ride a coaster when you're standing up. But it's really not that terrible. It's actually quite smooth still, but it does not get good ridership. And at number 1, Nighthawk, which is a Vekoma Flying Dutchman located right next to Vortex. This ride is kind of outdated. The manufacturer, Vekoma, only sold 3 of that model, that being Nighthawk, Batwing at Six Flags America, I believe, and Firehawk at Kings Island. Firehawk recently closed in 2018, so could that mean that more of these flying coasters are going to be taken out? who knows? But the combined land from Vortex, Nighthawk, Kitty Hawk, and the Slingshot ride, I believe, and their Extreme Skyflyer, that is really good room for a new wooden roller coaster. And then my third prediction goes to Canada's Wonderland for its next removal. There are actually quite a few candidates for this one, and probably the least likely one to go out, Silver Streak, which same as Nighthawk, or not Nighthawk, Kitty Hawk. There are too many hawks in that channel. And then I believe the next least likely one in the park to go is Time Warp. This is a Zamperla Volare. Zamperla. They're the same people who are currently redoing Top Thrill 2 at Cedar Point. And this one is not the greatest, but I did have a pretty smooth ride on it. I've heard people say that it's one of the roughest coasters in existence, one of the worst, but it's not that bad, guys. And then this is where we start getting into the more likelies. Dragonfire, the old Arrow Looper. They have been taking these out for better, bigger rides, such as the Looper at Six Flags Great Adventure. I think I'm gonna have to fact check myself, but there was this Arrow Mega Looper that was removed in favor of a flying coaster. Another Arrow Looper that's been taken out is Vortex at Kings Island. Now, Vortex, it was, from what I hear, rough, and considering that I saw stars on Dragonfire, this one's gotta go. And then my next prediction, my next contender for being removed at Canada's Wonderland is going to have to be Flight Deck. Ooh, those Vekoma SLCs are terrible. That's something you gotta ride to experience. They are quite forceful though, but you're jolting from side to side to side to side. And then this is probably my most likely to be removed next at Canada's Wonderland, which is Mighty Canadian Mindbuster. This is an old wooden coaster, and it needs to either get out of there, be destroyed, or get the RMC treatment. This is a really great contender. And lastly, my final prediction, Michigan's Adventure's future. And Michigan's Adventure, it is the smallest park in the chain, besides Frontier City and Elitch Gardens. I think Elitch Gardens is still owned by Cedar Fair, but in the new Six Flags chain, Michigan's Adventure, it's in the middle of nowhere, pretty much. And I get they have some pretty decent rides. Well, the only decent one is Shivering Timbers and Mad Mouse. Corkscrew is rough. Zach's Zoomer It's a family ride. You can't get much out of it. Wolverine Wildcat is not that good. And Thunderhawk, it stayed at my worst coaster spot for months. Until I rode Dragonfire. I think that this, along with smaller parks like Frontier City and let's see what else. Well, California's Great America is already getting sold. But I think that parks like Michigan's Adventure, Frontier City, and Six Flags Great Escape could be sold off. Because, well, I've only had an experience at Michigan's Adventure, and it's definitely the weakest in the chain. They haven't gotten a new addition since Thunderhawk, and that was relocated from the old Geauga Lake amusement park in Ohio. So, overall, I think that Michigan's Adventure is going to be gone out of Six Flags' hands within the next 10 years. That is all I have for you today. And see you in the next one.